Here's why your team will win the 2025 World Series. Atlanta Braves. After finishing last season with 89 wins, the Braves look to bounce back with a healthier team. The additions of Jurickson Profar and the return of Ronald Acuna Jr. will bring this team's offense back to its greatness. Don't sleep on this rotation either. This team has all of the pieces to make a deep run into October and win it all. Miami Marlins. Miami is coming off a 62-win season that was riddled with injuries and trades. This team can win the World Series this year if they trust their pitching staff and put the offensive weapons behind them. I expect Jesus Sanchez to continue to grow his power prowesses and be in the top 10 of MVP voting this year. If the Marlins sneak into the wild card, their pitching staff could bring them to the promised land. New York Mets. Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Edwin Diaz. Do I really need to say anything else? This may be the most top-heavy team in the league, but that only means that they can get better. With some veteran players now in their starting rotation, and the deadly bat of Juan Soto, this team is poised to make a deep run into the playoffs. I could see them winning the NL East and getting Soto his second ring. Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper and Trey Turner will have considerations for the MVP this year as they power themselves through the NL East. The Phillies have the pitching staff that can match any other team. Harper will get over the mountaintop this year with a supporting cast that he has around him. Who knows? Philly just might be having one of those years. Washington Nationals. A few rebuilding years have finally led to this young, fun team to be competitive. The favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, Dylan Crews, is bound to have a breakout season. With some growth, the pitching staff could allow for this team to get to great heights. If the Nationals can grab a wildcard spot, expect Dylan Crews to show off his clutch bat and bring them the championship. Chicago Cubs. The Cubs ended last season with 83 wins. Not only got better, but they put together what might be considered the best outfield in baseball. If the bats can follow the defensive production, this team will make a deep run into October. 9 years after their last championship, they will have a new MVP candidate leading them to the promised land. Pete Crow Armstrong will show why he has been such a highly touted prospect over the last few years. Expect Chicago to make a deep run this year. Cincinnati Reds. The Reds now have a pitching staff that has rearmed itself to fight for the Central. That, along with Elly De La Cruz becoming a superstar, are the reasons that this team will win it all this year. With the development of steady bats around them, they should expect to compete for the NL Central. If they sneak into a wildcard spot or even win the division, this team could be dangerous in the postseason. Cruz's speed will win them a championship. Milwaukee Brewers. Coming off of their division win last year, Milwaukee is looking to repeat as champions of the Central. With the additions of Nestor Cortez to the pitching staff and Yelich being healthy, expect this team to continue to get better, especially with the emergence of Jackson Chourio. We know how clutch he is, and you should expect him to get MVP consideration this year. The lineup will be deadly enough to make a deep run in October. Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh may have lost a few players, but with the emergence of potential Cy Young winning Paul Skeens, expect the pitching staff to be deadly. If this is McCutchen's last year as a pro, then we should expect him to go out on top. It could be a magical October run, so keep your eyes on this team. St. Louis Cardinals. A team looking to rebound and become better. Expect the Cards to overachieve this year. Nolan Arenado is now the captain of the ship if he doesn't get traded. And expect him to put up MVP numbers this year. This team is one of the best bullpens in the league. Securing a weak division like the Central should be easy for them. Pitching wins championships, and this team has that. Arizona Diamondbacks. With one of the best pitching staffs in the MLB, expect Arizona to dominate this year. This team was just in the dance a few years ago, and they are hungry to get back. They have the young lineup and can play with anyone. Colorado Rockies. The Rockies are young and dangerous. If the pitching staff can return to its 2017 form, this team will do damage in a wildcard spot. Expect Tovar to have an excellent season with some MVP consideration. A good amount of the farm is graduating this year. Young bats bring the drive and endurance needed to make another Rocktober run. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell. Let's get back to it. Los Angeles Dodgers. Do I really need to say anything? Shohei Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. This team just won the World Series and they got better. Expect them to break the regular season win total and easily march to another championship behind Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. San Diego Padres. One of the most balanced teams in the league, this is the year that San Diego will get their first World Series trophy. They might have the best lineup in baseball. If Tatis Jr. can stay healthy and stay consistent, and as long as they can get past LA, expect them to win it all. San Francisco Giants. The most experienced starting pitching rotation in the league plays for San Francisco. This team has proven that they can win with little offensive talent. They have one of the best defensive infields in the league as well. Defense wins championships. Baltimore Orioles. It's time for this young squad to get over the hump. Henderson will finish in the top 3 in MVP voting. The bullpen is built to succeed. If this team can stay healthy, they will do damage in October. Expect Henderson to play a big role in that. Boston Red Sox. One of the best lineups in the American League right here with the addition of Bregman. A healthy Trevor Story will also allow for the power of this team to be unmatched. If their pitching can keep up with the lineup, then expect Boston to have another title this fall. New York Yankees. Talk about a team who got better. The addition of a true first baseman in Paul Goldschmidt, this lineup is poised to be the best in the American League. Aaron Judge shows no signs of slowing down. With the addition of players allowed to have beards, expect there to be a parade in New York this year, as long as they can get past the 5th inning. Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay has proven year after year that they can scrap together any lineup and win. If this team is able to sneak into a wild card, their pitching staff can go toe-to-toe with any other team. Expect Junior Caminero to have a fantastic sophomore season and bring this city their first World Series trophy. Toronto Blue Jays. An underrated pitching staff mixed up with Vladdy's last year in Toronto, he will have an MVP type year and prove why he is worth the money that he is demanding. In that journey, the team will be able to win a championship this year. Chicago White Sox. Everyone is down on the White Sox, but there are a few bright spots. If Luis Robert Jr. can have another MVP type year, then this team can sneak some wins away. If their inexperienced pitching staff can be utilized correctly, then they could snag a wildcard spot. And once you're in the dance, anything can happen. Cleveland Guardians. Do they have the best bullpen in baseball? Yeah. And the lineup is only getting better. This team will live and die by Jose Ramirez. He will win the MVP this year and bring Cleveland to an easy divisional win. Cleveland is desperate for something to fall their way. Expect Jose Ramirez to have an out-of-this-world postseason and lift that World Series trophy up. Detroit Tigers. The best pitcher in baseball matched up with a young and feisty lineup. The Central looks to be weak, so expect them to make some moves at the deadline. Gleyber Torres will prove to be a beneficial pickup. This team will sneak into the postseason and get hot at the right time. They have the lineup to do it and the pitcher to fall on. Kansas City Royals. Bobby Witt Jr. is all you have to say. This man can single-handedly drag a team to the postseason, but now they have the pieces around him to truly compete. They have the bullpen and they have the lineup. Could there be a new dynasty forming in Kansas City? Minnesota Twins. Minnesota stayed pat this offseason. Carlos Carrera looks to be healthy and better than ever. This team has the pitching talent and the pleasure of playing in this horrid division. This is the year that Minnesota breaks whatever curse is put on them and bring them their first championship since the 90s. Houston Astros. They have nasty starting pitchers, and that's meeting an old and experienced bats. This team has gotten rid of some older bats that have been holding them back the last few years. Altuve and Yordan Alvarez will both receive MVP votes, and it will allow this team to make the postseason. Once Houston's in the postseason, they've been there, they've done that, they know what to do. They had the experience to win, and that's what they're going to do. Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout. If he is healthy, this team will be competitive. They have a revamped bullpen. Expect them to hold on to more games this year. They will have young talent around Trout to make it work. Trout needs one ring to be a 100% first-year lock for the Hall of Fame. This is the year that he brings it to Anaheim. Athletics. The best closer in baseball, Mason Miller, will be able to lift this pitching staff up and earn them some wins. This lineup has been playing together for a few years. With that chemistry, they could be poised to get Sacramento a ring this fall. Don't let this team into the dance. Seattle Mariners. The best starting pitching lineup in the MLB. You can put plumbers behind these pitchers and they would still win 80 games. The one thing you don't want to see in October is a hot pitching staff, and this is the team that has that. This team has all of the pieces to bring home that title for Seattle. Texas Rangers. A healthy pitching staff will bring them back to the World Series. We know that this lineup can get there. Jacob deGrom will receive some Cy Young votes, and this team will have their second championship in 2 years. I want to thank you all for watching. This has been why your team will win the 2025 World Series.